I just want to say a few words about Taylor, and especially about how kind hearted he was and how caring he was, and such a quiet, soft, wonderful soul. Um, Even at age 2, he was very selfless. When we had him come down, him and Rose came down to take care of Emma. And when they were down there, we decided to go to the zoo. Emma was not good at being in the car, but she definitely um, sat in her car seat and cried the whole way. Taylor sat there quietly, and Rose said, "Taylor, can you give Emma your blanket?" We all know that Taylor loved his blanket and took his blanket everywhere with him and just was very attached to it. He didn't hesitate. He handed it over to her and watched her as she continued to cry. We continued on to the zoo, and halfway there, he's like, "Could you just turn her off?" Rose and I both chuckled, but yet he didn't take his blanket away. He let her have his blanket. That was one selfless act for someone so little to realize that he could share something he loved so much with another person. 20 years later, I called Taylor up and I said, "Hey, Taylor, can you help us move Emma into her apartment in De Pere?" Taylor's first response was, "Sure, just let me know when and where. I'll be there." The day came, he showed up right on time, helped load up her all her furniture, helped carry it up the one flight of stairs. Never said, didn't expect anything in return, was just happy with the thank you. That just goes to show you the kind of person he was, a very soft-spoken, loving individual that would do anything for his family. We miss you, Taylor.
Taylor may not have lived a full life, but he lived life to the fullest. I'm Lori, Taylor's aunt, Craig's sister. We were fortunate to visit Taylor in Arkansas in 2021 with Craig and Rose. We went there for our spring break to go bike riding with Taylor. We had no idea what that meant. We got there and were shocked at what the type of bike riding that he did. We got to enjoy seeing him whip around curves and jump over hills. Us older people just kind of went at a slow pace, and it was like, oh, this is so difficult. But we had fun watching him enjoy himself. What you don't know is our first biking experience with Taylor was when he was a child. We were in Door County at Peninsula Park. David and I and our daughter Lily and Craig and Rose, Maddie and Taylor. The girls were on like tandem bikes. We had our own bikes. Taylor wanted to ride his own bike. We were halfway through Peninsula Park on a trail, and Taylor decided he'd had enough. He got off his bike. There was no more bike riding for him. It took a lot of encouragement to get back up on his bike so that we could finish our bike ride and get back to our vehicle. So when we were visiting, I mean, we just could never have imagined that something that was not very pleasant for him as a child would become his passion in life. When we were visiting him in Arkansas, we went out to dinner, and at dinner, he said he couldn't imagine living anywhere else but Arkansas. It allowed him the freedom to get on his bike and ride any day of the week he wanted. A lot of people go through life trying to figure out what's going to make them happy, and Taylor was happy. He did this in such a short amount of time. His life was cut short. We are going to miss him dearly. We love you so much, Taylor.
Okay. Taylor Ming, I'll be talking to you the rest of my life. Although we live through times of distance, this vast planet feels so empty without you. Trying to sum up our lives shared and what you mean to me in a few pages feels impossible, so I'll keep it short. We should really start from the beginning. On the bike house, I would frequently ask our housemates, does this dude just hate me? Only to soon later realize we were just mirroring each other's shyness, and would later find the most genuine connection. Stumbling snowstorm adventures, screaming Metallica at the top of our lungs, rolling around crying, laughing, and late-night heart-to-hearts would break through ice that could never freeze over. And in those cracks, I would find my best friend. He matched my adventurous side twofold, raised me a joke, and before I knew it, I was all in. Our adventure in the old Honda Odyssey would change everything. After the trip we had just had, I remember thinking, with this guy, even the worst of times aren't so bad. Virginia's for lovers, the sign read as we crossed state lines to head back. I remember looking over at you and knowing we were something special. Although life would unravel in ways we couldn't foresee and love would take on different forms, it would always remain pure and present. Thanks to you, I would see many natural wonders and so much beauty, your smile included. Looking back on life, my time with you is truly such a peak. From caves to geysers to mountaintops and ice-cold rivers and all the broken teeth in between, you approached adventure with so much curiosity and childish joy. You believed in people and encouraged them to go beyond their comfort and at times far beyond their abilities. I was head over heels and so frequently over the handlebars on the winding trails of the time we shared. So composed and calm by nature, you truly demonstrated how deep still waters can run. Thank you for trusting me with your vulnerability and depth, as well as your strength. I wish more could have seen it, because you truly felt things so sincerely and thought through things so deeply. The rock we didn't always know we needed, Taylor with stability, with a smile, an off-the-cuff joke, and a heart of gold. Happiest living in a pop-up and bathing in ice-cold Superior runoff, we valued true connection over glitter and glory, and because of that you sparkled brighter. Finding beauty and simplicity and adventure in your own backyard, like your soul needed adventure beyond this physical plane could offer. Thank you a million times over for all the experiences and joy, knowing he was brought to my life. Thank you for holding on for one last see you later, while I still can't make sense as to why the good ones are taken too soon. I find some sort of peace in knowing you, Miko, and I will be hitting jumps and swinging in hammocks again soon someday. Love you always. Bye, guys.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Caleb Feller, first cousin of Taylor, and just had a few things to say to remember Taylor today and to celebrate his 31 years of life here with us. As all of you know, anyone that knew him, I was very blessed to have him in your lives, in our lives, and a part of our family. Taylor and I, we didn't spend a whole lot of time together, but the times that we did, we always had a great time. Some fond memories I have of Taylor are some times up north, some of the cousin trips together. And then another fond memory, and probably the most time I got to spend with him, was when I purchased a Toyota FJ Cruiser back in 2027. And Taylor, he was probably thinking, Caleb, he's starting to get it together, got a nice off-roading vehicle. And so immediately I reached out to Taylor and asked him if he would be willing to help me build it up for the mountains, for the trails, and beef it up a little bit. And he had no hesitation. He was really excited about building it with me. And so we did just that. Threw the lift kit on it, had a lot of fun with it. And then I got married, and I got divorced. And sure enough, that FJ Cruiser turned into new cabinets, a lot of remodeling, a lot of updating in the house that I purchased. So we never did get to live out the dream of getting out to the mountains together and having a great time. But we sure had a good time building it, and we developed a better bond and relationship through that. So I'm very grateful for that. And I also just wanted to touch on how devastated I was of his loss, but how God is so good in comforting us when we ask for those things. I've been praying for the Meetz family very regularly the past year and a half, and sometimes God does miracles and he heals people of cancer, and for whatever reason Taylor was not. But the promise of eternal life through Jesus is the best news and most comforting news that I can hold on to, and we can hold on to at this point. I know that we're going to be able to be together again one day. We're going to get on that mountain together. We're going to do all those things that we wanted to do down here. And so I'm really looking forward to that day again. And I'm definitely not here to preach today, but most of you that know me, I love the gospel of Jesus Christ. 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4 says, how that Christ died for our sins, was buried, and he rose again on the third day according to the scriptures. And for anybody that hasn't heard it, salvation is not complicated. Jesus did all the work for us on the cross, so that all we have to do is place our faith in what he did. Can't save ourselves. So anybody that has been putting that off, today's the day to do it. Don't wait till tomorrow. Taylor's story and his life and his legacy is a reminder of that, whether we get 80 years down here or 30, life is definitely short. We don't know when our last day is. So, Rose, Craig, Madeline, love you all from the bottom of my heart. And thank you for everything that you've done for me, our family. And today we celebrate Taylor, his life, his legacy, and everything that he was about. So thank you, and everybody have a great rest of your day. And apologies for having to record this on my way to pick up my 2 kiddos. So love y'all, and take care.
For those of you that don't know me, my name's Logan. For those of you that do, you may remember me as the kid that never went home. Taylor's been one of my best friends for over 20 years. It all started one day after school when he walked up to me and asked if I wanted to come over after school tomorrow. Before that, we had never spoken. We just knew of each other from soccer practice. That's who Taylor was. He always knew what he wanted, and he did exactly that. Taylor has always been a man of few words. I think that's because he didn't see the point in beating around the bush or saying things that weren't necessary. Many think Taylor struggled with communication, which, if you're referring to technology, you'd be right. But I think real communication was one of Taylor's strong suits. There's a verse, it's James 1, 19 and 20. My dear brothers, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires. That's exactly how I see Taylor's communication skills. For the span of about 16 years, I spent more time with Taylor than I did without. I don't think anyone has cooked me more meals than Rose has, and I don't think I've been on more vacations than I have been with Meetz's. Their home felt like home for me. They were family, and Taylor was like a brother. Like many brothers, we wouldn't always see eye to eye, and we'd have disagreements. But that wouldn't stop us from calling one or the other after a day or two to go ride bikes, build jumps, or go explore by the creek. Usually I'd realize I was wrong, or the error in my ways, or Taylor would apologize. He never held grudges or held things against people. He'd just forgive and move on. I've never met anyone quite as good at that as he was. All the way through, this never changed. No matter what happened or how much time may have passed, it always ended the same way, with Taylor saying, "We're good." He was always the one I could count on, I could trust, the one I knew would be honest. He didn't exaggerate or embellish. He never treat you with kid gloves or protect feelings with lies. And I love that about him. There was one night we were all at the skate park when decisions were made and my head paid the price. I woke up leaving the skate park on a stretcher while everyone around was freaking out and failing to answer any questions, causing me to worry. But when I looked to my left, there was Taylor walking beside me, calm as can be, and I asked if I was good. And all he had to say was, "You're good," with that look of "don't worry about it" on his face. And then I was good. I trust Taylor with my life, and it's trust well placed. Without Taylor, I wouldn't have the knowledge or the ambition I have. I wouldn't have the faith I have. I wouldn't have the life that I have. Without Taylor, I wouldn't be the person I am today. For us, today is hard, but we can rest assured it's the best day Taylor has ever had. Him, Rodney, a bike and a ball, having the time of their lives.
Hey everyone, my name is Carson Feller, and I wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about Taylor and just who he was to me and what he meant. Taylor is one of my cousins, but he was a lot more than just a cousin to me. He was a best friend, and he was like a brother to me. Me and Taylor were lucky enough to spend a ton of time growing up together, even though we lived pretty far away, or a little bit farther than we'd like. We made it work, and we did spend a lot of time together, and made a lot of amazing and great memories over the years. Some of my favorite memories are just growing up and always going to family Christmas and Easter at Grandma and Grandpa's, and knowing that he would be there, and getting to those Christmases and Easters and holidays, and realizing or finding out that he wasn't going to be there. That was always devastating, and it almost ruined the holiday. So I always just look back on that, and that's what I can always look forward to when I was younger, is those get-togethers with family, knowing that Taylor was going to be there, and that always puts a big smile on my face thinking about that still to this day. But fast forward a little bit, and I'd have to say one of my favorite moments, or most laughable moments, would have been when I was probably 21 and Taylor was 20, and we were headed from Oshkosh back to Amro to Greg and Rose's house, and I was driving, and we were just leaving town, and I was following a car going pretty slow, and Taylor must have been in a pretty big hurry to get home. Probably had to see Rodney, but he was kind of just, oh, come on, this guy's going so slow. He goes, "You can pass him here. Don't worry about it. The cops never sit here." So, Taylor knows Oshkosh, so I said, "All right, whatever." And I passed this guy, and seconds later, I'm getting pulled over. Cop walks up to the window, and he goes, "Well, you go a little fast back there." And I go, "Yeah, well, I don't know the area that well. Sorry, officer." And cop kind of peeks his head down in the car a little bit, and he looks right at Taylor, and he goes, "Don't I know you?" And Taylor just goes, "Well, I don't know." And he goes, "Well, I'll be right back." And he goes back, and then a little bit later, he comes walking back up, and cop hands me a speeding ticket, and he goes, "Well, you can thank your buddy for that. I just pulled him over last week here, and he got a speeding ticket also." So we just really laughed about that, and that's always been kind of a funny thing we always talked about. Years later, whenever we'd see each other, we'd say, "Geez, you look familiar." So that's one of my most laughable memories with Taylor. And I just wanted to share that I was able to go on a trip recently, about almost 2.5 months ago, with Taylor and Craig. We were able to go to Boyne City, Michigan, and just spend a week together and just kind of just talk about old stories and laugh and have a good time and um, spend every day and night with each other. And it just really made me think about when we were kids, and it was really amazing. And I just got to say thanks to Craig and uh, for making that work. And I was able to tag along with those guys and um, make some more memories, and memories I'll cherish for the rest of my life. So, but yeah, I got a bunch of stories about Taylor and a lot of good ones, and I can go on for hours and talk about him. He was amazing. He was an amazing guy, and nothing bad to say about him. But definitely gonna miss him and loved him. So uh, yeah, but that's just a little bit of my story about Taylor and me. But yeah, so
Thank you all for being here today to honor the life of our nephew, Taylor. We are Kurt and Doreen Feller.
It always brings a smile to my face when I think of Taylor. His spirit was reserved, humble, and soft-spoken, but yet he was fueled by a spirit of imagination and adventure. We have so many fond memories to cherish. When Taylor was a little boy, we got to spend a lot of time with him. Feller family get-togethers was always a good time, celebrating Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, birthdays, and we can't forget the Feller family reunions. In 1998, Kurt and I were excited to be asked to take care of Taylor and Maddie for a week when Rose and Craig went on vacation. It was then that I could see a bond growing between Taylor, 4, and our son Carson, 5. In the beginning, Carson would get mad when Taylor was around. He would say, "Mom, he keeps following me. Can you please make him stop?" It didn't take long, and soon the two of them were best buds. We never had to entertain them, or we never heard the words, "I'm bored." Carson, high energy, and right behind him, always trying to keep up, was Taylor. One day, while I was videotaping the boys at a 4th of July picnic, Taylor walked up to me with a handful of worms and said, "Do you want to eat a worm?" And I said with a face, "What? Let me see them." "Oh my gosh, Taylor, that's gross." He looked at me with that smile and said, "Oh, yum." And he proceeded to eat one. Inside of me chuckled as I was pretending to be grossed out, as he had a handful of green, yellow, and red gummy worms. When Rose and Craig would bring the kids down for a visit, Grandpa Herman and Grandma Jean, to their home, we would usually gather for a meal. One afternoon, while the adults were visiting, we noticed it got very quiet. With those two around, you always knew something was up if it got quiet. Down to the basement we would go looking for them. No boys down here. Then, up to the bedroom we would go. Soon Grandma Jean would yell, "I found them!" She could see them out the kitchen window. We all rushed over to the window to see Taylor and Carson sitting in Grandpa's boat in the backyard. They had climbed up onto the trailer into the boat. When we laid eyes on them, Carson was rowing the boat and Taylor was leaning back in his chair with his fishing hat on, his feet up in the air, resting them on the boat edge. I remember going outside and saying, "Hey, you guys don't have your life jackets on." Then Taylor proceeded to tell me they were just pretending. I mean, I should have known that, right? As we all know, when Taylor got older, he liked to bike and snowboard. He really excelled at these activities. I remember going to their new home in Amarillo. Taylor was building a bike ramp, this U-shaped thing, out of wood. I couldn't believe it, that he was going to ride his bike on that. But he did.
Our last visit with Taylor was on April 19th. When I walked into the bedroom, he greeted me with a firm handshake, a huge smile, and he told me that he loved me. On that day, we took Taylor a beautiful canvas picture of him soaring through the sky on his bicycle with Miko watching. Now, as far as we can remember, in all the times we've read the Bible or any sort of devotional, we have never seen the word bicycle. On the following day, after our visit with Taylor, in our early morning devotional with a book called Streams in the Desert, the scripture read like this: "Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord of hosts." Zechariah 4:6. My way led up a hill, and right at the foot I saw a boy on a bicycle. He was pedaling uphill against the wind and evidently found it tremendously hard work. Just as he was working most strenuously and doing his best painfully, there came a trolley car going in the same direction up the hill. It wasn't going too fast for the boy to get behind it, and with one hand he lay hold of a bar at the back. Then you know what happened. He went up the hill like a bird. Then it flashed upon me. God promised us in John 3:16, though we will miss you here on earth, Taylor, we will see you again in heaven.